When looking at the list of playable suits in Gun Evo, I'm surprised at the distinct lack of representation of 1990s era mobile suits. There are a lot of series to pick from here with excellent suit designs. G Gundam, F91, Stardust Memory, Wing, Victory, 08MS Team. Yes, Turn A is technically a 90s series, but it's such a radical departure from everything else Gundam that it hardly feels representative of the decade. Personally, I have a weak spot for Gundam Wing. Like many in the West, it was my first significant exposure to Gundam as a franchise, and the mobile suits in this show remain favorites of mine. However, when theorycrafting which suits could make their way into Gundam Evolution, my mind does not immediately go to personal favorites of mine like Wing Zero Custom or the Tallgeese. While I would be elated to see either of those suits in the game, I don't believe either of them would bring anything entirely new to the game in terms of both the suit's gameplay and what role those two suits would possibly fill in a team composition. Instead, I would first want to see a suit known for its sheer, unyielding firepower. Gundam Heavyarms Kai. Heavyarms Kai would make a wonderful flanking suit, a mobile 2- mid-range 800 health DPS threat with a wide array of weapons to choose from. I should note, while different looking and with different weapon loadouts, the orange Heavyarms Kai, seen later in the main Gundam Wing TV series, and the blue-green variant seen in Endless Waltz are technically the same suit. Both suits share the same designation as the XXXG-01H2. Endless Waltz just retcons the TV series and presumes that the redesigns are the way the suits have always looked. For Gundam Evolution though, I'd prefer the original Kai design from the TV series, as it helps keep the offensive capabilities of the suit slightly in check, and I simply prefer it visually. The Heavyarms Kai's primary weapon is its twin beam Gatling, a pair of Gatling guns mounted to its arm. This is the obvious choice for a primary fire, which I would see being a mid-ranged weapon meant to lock down corridors or lanes with sheer volume of fire. The trade-off being that it drains through its ammo reserves quickly and would have a somewhat lengthy reload time. In terms of Kai's three abilities, I'd first start with its homing missiles. Heavyarms is armed with 6 missiles stored in the shoulders that are shown to have lock-on capabilities. These missiles could lock on using a system similar to Sazabi's enemy search, but for the sake of balance, Heavyarms' movement would be reduced during lock-on and firing. Powerful, but risky. The missiles would have a blind fire option, in which case it would fire straight forward wherever Heavyarms is aiming at the time, but the missiles would have very limited splash damage and couldn't be used to hold down an angle as effectively as, say, a Dom Trooper's rocket launcher could. For its second ability, I'd simply give Heavyarms its chest Gatling gun. This is pretty self-explanatory. Heavyarms' chest would open for a burst of fire, adding some DPS onto whatever enemy you're focusing on at the time. The ability would be able to be used while also firing the suit's primary, doubling up damage on a single target, or as a backup ability that could be used while in the reload animation of the primary. This is essentially a backup ability that could be used for a bit more extra damage, but I want Heavyarms to have at least one short last-ditch damage option. When it comes to Heavyarms' third ability, I at first went for the Army Knife, a single swipe close-range option for when the suit had nothing left. However, in terms of the game's balance, Heavyarms is a suit that should feel very vulnerable at close range, so I ended up nixing that idea. Instead, I chose to highlight one of the more unique aspects of Heavyarms' design, and really of the design of many suits from the 1990s: its size. Heavyarms is a pretty small mobile suit in terms of overall franchise. Standing at just 16.7 meters tall and weighing a mere 8.2 metric tons, Heavyarms is a featherweight frame with heavyweight firepower. For reference, measuring as accurately as I can, Heavyarms is roughly the same height as Zeta Gundam's shield and a mere fraction of its weight. This is a suit that should be incredibly fast and mobile. So instead, I thought the suit should get a leaping ability that I would call Acrobat, highlighting the surprising agility Heavyarms is capable of. Heavyarms is essentially a walking turret, and as such should have access to high ground locations for a good flank or ambush. Essentially, anywhere the Gym Sniper 2 can go, I believe Heavyarms should be able to go as well. Last, for its G maneuver, Heavyarms would unleash its full arsenal as an artillery barrage. There's nothing fancy about this, just a massive output of missiles and firepower capable of melting any mobile suit unfortunate to be caught in its line of fire. For the sake of balance though, Heavyarms would only be capable of using its ultimate while grounded and would need to remain stationary for its duration. I really think Heavyarms would be a fun and unique addition to Gundam Evolution. Intense, focused firepower that doesn't rely on single-hit crits for DPS, packed into a small, agile package. The trade-off would have to be low health and abilities that one needs to commit to due to long recharge times. It would be the proverbial glass cannon, capable of shredding through an enemy team, but incredibly vulnerable when singled out. So those are my thoughts on how Heavyarms could be added to the game, but I want to know, what suits would you like to see added to Gundam Evolution? Would you design Heavyarms differently than I have? What roles do you still think need filling? These are the kinds of fun discussions and debates that a game with such a large pool of possible characters as Gundam Evolution grants us, and I always enjoy theory crafting what could come next. And I just want to say thanks for the recent support here on GLHF, it really does mean the world to me, and if you haven't already, please do drop a like and a sub below, it does make a huge difference. The support for the channel recently has been awesome, and again, thank you for watching. This has been Scan at GLHF TV.